Here on the Illinois River, about 30 miles south of Chicago, is ground zero of the latest invasive species debate, whether or not to spend untold billions of dollars separating the Great Lakes from the Mississippi River Basin.
We're approaching the electric barriers that have been in place since 2002.
Del Wilkins operates a barge business on the Illinois.
The fish barriers are working, and that the controls were being adequate thus far and doing their function to stop the advancement of invasive species, not only from the inland waterways coming into the Great Lakes environment, but also from the Great Lakes environment going into the inland waterways.
Frankly, having that technology in place doesn't make me sleep better at night. It's a good interim solution. It does a good job of repelling fish, but we need something in the Great Lakes that we can bank on for generations to come. And I'm banking on the separation of the Great Lakes from the Mississippi River.
Debate over building a physical barrier which would interrupt commercial barge traffic started mainly because of this. Asian carp, the frenetic flying poster fish for all invasive species. As dangerous and scary as Asian carp can be above the water surface, they're even more devastating beneath it.
Underneath the water, Asian carp are great at eating. They can scoop up to 20% of their body weight out of the water per day, and what they do is they eat right at the base of the food web.
It's the fear of Asian carp's next destination that has galvanized advocates for separation.
They're swimming north towards the Great Lakes through the Mississippi River, the Illinois River, and they're coming very close to us here in Chicago.
And it is in Chicago where the proponents of separation would like this fish story to take a sharp turn, literally at the convergence of the Great Lakes and the Mississippi River.
Used to be that water flowed from the Chicago area into Lake Michigan. At around the turn of the 20th century, around 1900, the water was reversed, so that now Lake Michigan drains into the Chicago River down to the Mississippi.
Before the reversal, sewage and waste was dumped directly into Lake Michigan, where Chicago also happens to get its drinking water.
Well, they wanted to separate their waste from their drinking water for obvious health reasons, and so the river was reversed.
So now you've got this free-flowing canal between the Great Lakes and the Mississippi River. Great for getting rid of Chicago's waste, great for transportation in the 19th century, but it's also opened up this highway for Asian carp to move up the Illinois River toward Lake Michigan.
So the idea is to build a permanent barrier to separate, to restore the natural divide, the natural watershed divide that existed prior to the 1900s.
But not everyone is satisfied that a physical barrier is the best solution.
We always need people who want to look forward. And there's absolutely no reason for us not to do so.
Kay Nelson represents an array of industries in the state of Indiana and has been engaged in Great Lakes issues for over 30 years.
My concern is that I've expressed multiple times in settings is that the general public has the impression that this is the fast fix to prevent the Asian carp from migrating into the Great Lakes. And it's not something that's going to happen within the next 18 to 24 months.
Another concern is that wastewater will once again be discharged into Lake Michigan. But to Del Wilkins and thousands of others who work along the Chicago waterway, their top concern is making a living in an already tight economy.
If we shut down locks or we separate a system, we're forced to have to shut down our operations. Because if we shut down operations, we're putting people out of work and we're losing jobs. And right now we're moving upwards of 25 to 30 million tons annually within the greater Chicagoland area.
There's $16 billion worth of product that go through the waterway system.
Mark Biel represents the chemical industry in Illinois and is also chairman of Unlock Our Jobs, a group focused on keeping the Chicago waterway system open.
The folks who depend on the waterway system don't want the Asian carp in the Great Lakes. That's the last thing in the world we want. We want to be part of the solution. What we have said is we think there's a lot of ways to solve this issue short of separating the waterway system so that you cause economic harm to those folks that depend on it.